Right then, so welcome back. This will be part 2 of resurrecting the abandoned tank, or Centurion Barb as it's properly called, but it's big, heavy, armoured, so as far as I'm concerned I'm going to call it a tank. I am a bit of a simpleton. So yesterday we had a good look around it, worked out what we needed to do. Joe caught me up on what he's done with the engine and getting that up and running again. I mean, he did claim his eyebrows at one point, but it seems to have overcome that issue. But we do have to strip the magnetos, not the magnetos, we've got to strip the carbs and the inlet off it today to get it in. But we are going to run it again, get that on film for you. Just trying to think. Yeah, so we're going to run it up, because we haven't checked the fuel pumps yet. Before, when he test fired it, he just ran it on what was in the carburettor bowls, so it'd only run for a few seconds, sort of thing. But it did allow him to check that everything was alright, to get the timing set up right. But we are just going to run it on the fuel pump, make sure the fuel pump works, make sure the frontal linkage works, make sure it actually revs. Probably going to tie it to something so it don't fuck off out of the workshop. But yeah, that's the main plan for today, is get that engine running. There's a couple of stuck studs in one of the actual engine mounts we've got to get out. That could be a bit of a challenge. And after that, the next job is to free all the linkages up, because obviously your controls are at the front of the tank, the engine and the gearbox are right at the very back, so there's some control rods and linkages that run the entire length of the tank. As you can imagine, all this shit that's built up in the bottom of that tank while it's being stood is in those linkages. A couple of them are free. I think it was high range reverse, which is obviously the French's gear of choice, and I think 5th and 4th forwards, which is like hasty going forwards. They're all free, but we've got no low sort of 1st, 2nd and 3rd, which would be handy for actually making sure everything works. And the low range reverse, we can't seem to find that, so we're going to bring that linkage up. Then the actual clutch linkage is stuck solid. Now hopefully that is the linkage and not something in the clutch itself, because I can't remember what you told me. I think the clutch is way over a ton, so I mean, we have got an excavator to lift them out, but it's not something we want to do unless we have to. But yeah, once we've got those linkages freed off and working, and we've got all the other bits on the engine, got it run up, the next step after that is to actually lift the engine into the tank. I doubt we'll get to that today, because I've got commitments later on in the day that I've got to go and see to. But yeah, if we can get all the prep work done, then either tomorrow, if we can, or next weekend, we should get the tank in and hopefully get it driving. That might be wishful thinking, but I don't see why we can't do it. I mean, how hard can it be? It's only a bloody tank. I mean, Remy could fix them. Like, we found a box in there labelled toolbox, and all that were in there were an adjustable spanner and a kind of easy start, so I think that says a lot. But yeah, we're going to get cracked on with it, see what we can do, and yeah, we'll bring you along for the ride. So we'll see you at the workshop. Right, so day 2 of the tank project. We're down in the belly of it. I'm lifting floor plates up, trying to unseize these rods. We think we found the problem. This brass duct that goes through the bulkhead into the engine bay seems to be where they've stuck, but there is a greasing system. So if we follow that up and get some proper ends on there, Zerk ends, we should be able to pump some grease in and maybe free that off after we've dug it out through all the mouse shit. Joe's digging out the engine bay. Hello. Hello. Trying to make it look half tidy so that when the meteor dumps all its oil out, we can
see where it's coming from.
Maybe. But yeah, get these freed off, we can check the transmission works, and then hopefully it's engine time. Yeah. Right, so we've got the floor plates up. We've cleaned up that gland end, which is where we think all the linkages are stuck. So we've got what we think is right tiller, clutch, all these in the middle are the gear linkages, and then over this side we've got the throttle and the right hand side tiller. The problem we've got is where the hatch is up there, which is letting sunshine in now, has been letting a lot of fucking rain in. And the gear linkages, the reason that one was moving so freely is it's fucked. Like, it's done a full-on Argentina and just surrendered. So that's gonna have to be repaired. Luckily it's hollow tube, so you reckon we can just sleeve them? Sleeve them in place, get it running. Possibly in the future it might get repaired properly, but let's be honest, if you've got a running driving tank slash barb, you're not going to fuck about replacing the gear linkages if they work. It's but yeah, we've actually got light in here at the minute as well. We've got the battery charger hooked up to these. How old do you reckon they are?
I'd say they're 1991.
Yeah. So we found these military spec grease nipples, which feed the, I don't even know what you call it really, like gear manifold.
Yeah, bulkhead
manifold, flange.
Yeah. Something.
Sorcery. But yeah, so we've wired these out, the good old nut fucker, and we've found that they're just standard fine thread. Like the military haven't gone all out and invented their own thread and cost a fortune for some reason, which is the usual trick. So hopefully, if we thread that in, I should use a proper spanner, but we're going Army spec.
Nice angle.
Definitely a nut fucker, isn't it, this thing? I've got some proper fucking spanners in my pocket as well.
No. That's the best way. That's going to be a nice angle to get on now.
Oh, we're going to make it nice to work on.
Oh, that's not
there we
bad.
go.
Look at that.
So we get that on there, and then that came prepared.
You've got a feather stuck in your hair at the back. Oh, we'll see how long that stays in your hair.
It's my Indian war dress. That is taking. Oh, it's pissing out the side of the pipe.
Oh, what a shame. Yeah, that pipe's burst.
The other one's for the other. Might as well do the other one and pump stuff into that other flange.
Yeah,
But I think we're going to have to repair that.
That pipe.
We could just try brazing it up.
Well, why don't you do what? Do you reckon you got room to put the grease nipple right on the end?
Possibly.
Let's try that.
That's going in. Yes! Coming out of that one. I still don't think it's going to get to that end. What is that first? That's that one, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then isn't there another linkage at the end of that?
That one is solid. I can see that one you're trying to move.
That's the one.
Here's a screw cap.
Yeah.
Underneath there.
Would you? Why the fuck would you hide the horn?
So you don't lean on it in battle.
I thought it was just because British soldiers were too horny to start with.
You want to give your position away, would you? What's this one?
It needs a.
Oh, this is your oil.
That's to change between your oil pressure and fuel on that two-way gauge.
Oh, so we've got
half a tank of fuel.
Have we? It looks like we've got minus half a tank.
Have you got an oil pressure?
I see. And then what's the PSI?
Pounds per oil pressure.
Yeah, but surely shouldn't it go all the way around? You see, it goes backwards.
I don't know.
I think it's that low on fuel. It's nearly full again.
Well, that definitely means it's full.
Looks pretty good in there, to be fair.
It's not a rat's nest. I like that little sandwich holder.
What, down here?
No, in front there's one.
Yeah.
But if you put your sandwiches in there, you'd lose them.
I don't know what you'd put in there.
But
Be interesting to find out.
Well, with British Army catering, losing your sandwiches probably wouldn't be a terrible thing. So if you work that one again.
Ready?
Go on, yeah. So kick that again, backwards a foot. So that's free at the bulkhead now. So is that foot brake?
That's foot brake.
So that's seized up now, back in the gearbox somewhere. So that is now seized up somewhere down here. Oh, just kick it again.
Ready?
So that should be moving one of these linkages, which aren't doing fuck all. So I think next stage is to work out which one of these it should be. And see if we can get it moving at this end. But yeah, we're getting somewhere. So if you give the tillers a move. So we're getting a bit of movement at this end. Yeah. See, we're getting no movement at the gearbox end for that, so I'm guessing that's stuck still in the. That's stuck in the bulkhead. So, problem one that we've, well, Joe's just spotted is we have a hole in
the water rail / engine hold down chassis bit.
So basically, the mighty Meteor sits on this engine mount, which is also a coolant reservoir. Is that, yeah, it's the best way to describe it, isn't it?
That's basically it.
And
we've got holes in it.
Yeah, it's like this is supposed to be an amphibious. Those are definitely letting water out rather than keeping it out. And yeah, it's that crossover pipe there. So that's the output for the clutch. So the engine slides on over there. That crossover rail joins the two water pipes. And there's a drain under there, so you can crawl underneath if you're the poor unfortunate bastard that gets that job and drain the water out. And that's got a hole in it. So we're just trying to work out, is it going to be easier to just chop that bit out in situ and just weld a piece of pipe in? Or, because we know that's got holes in, somewhere else probably will have that we can't really see. So are we better, before we put the engine in and then discover that it leaks and cry, are we better taking it out and doing something about it?
We do have a good replacement one of these, so it seems sensible.
Yeah, I suppose we could pressure test it properly if we took it out.
Well, I've got one that I know is perfect.
So
we've got round the corner.
For the sake of, there's two great big bolts there, and then another two in here with the gearbox. And that.
How rusty are they?
No, not bad at all.
They'll probably undo. These two, I think the nuts will want the gas on them, just to warm them up.
Well, this is a British gearbox, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it'll have definitely leaked oil on them at some point.
That's it. That's why those two will be mint.
So they'll be fine.
Fair, we need to change that clutch spring that's completely rotted away, and if this is out of the way,
that'll be easier.
That'll be a lot easier. And
it'll also mean we could get these linkages down here, which run the, you know,
easy to get at them, won't it? And another thing is the two rubber hoses that go from this rail to feed the rads at the bottom. They're fucked. The rubber is. We'll replace that with silica.
Then, if we're going that far, we might as well take the clutch out, do that repair to it on the bench, where it will be 100 times easier.
We could do.
And then, possibly, would it be easier to make the clutch and engine as one outside?
No, you can't do that.
Can you not do it that way?
No way. Not a chance.
But repairing, so that clutch spring there is made of brake for freedom, and a new clutch is £1,000, and bodging that up with a socket and a bit of weld
We'll be fine.
is about £4, as long as we use a Chinese socket, not a snap-on one. A snap-on one would cost more than a new clutch, but we'll taking the clutch out would make that job a lot easier.
It would.
And then
maybe that's what we do next, then start taking this rail out.
So, unfortunately for today's video, I don't think we're going to see a Meteor fire up, are we? I think we're going to have to get this rail out.
Yeah.
I think that might be today.
Yeah.
But that is going to make everything else easier.
I think that's the thing to do.
Take that out.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, we can put the nice shiny one in.
Yeah, we can even paint it up.
We could maybe sell that one to some poor unfortunate bastard.
Well, we could salvage this one when it's there.
In fact, you know what that makes, yeah?
What?
That's a nice mount to put your spare engine on.
That's exactly right, yeah.
It's an absolute perfect engine mount.
Yeah. Then you can still use it, when we repair it, still use it as a water rail.
Yeah, so it'd make a good test bed.
Yeah.
That would have...
So we'll keep hold of that.
Yeah, I reckon that's the next step then. Because that will make getting to all these linkages and gears and...
Bring the clutch up and everything.
That was scarily easy.
Oh, fucking good.
You seen this?
Easy, we like easy.
Look at that, it's even shiny.
Quality. You wouldn't believe that though, would you really?
You wouldn't believe that's British Army. I keep leaning on the asbestos without thinking about it.
I'll be fine.
I can smell the cancer. I mean, they're not bad, are they? I was expecting them to be an absolute twat. Look at that. That is like new. Is that
Still silver.
We'll be reusing
And
it.
the threads are perfectly fine. We'll put a new.
Might run a tap up it, a dye up it. Sorry, just.
It's pretty damn good though.
It's not bad.
Let's see. If
How old is this?
This one.
The snap-on gun definitely generates more noise than torque.
Yeah, especially in the tank. Oh, we're now dead. Yeah. Ready?
See, if it was any other engine than a V12, I'd be saying let's put a diesel in it.
Yeah.
But you can't not have a V12. So yeah, that's today's big win. That fucker from out of there. And I think that's going home time. I'll say this.